The Joe Biden administration is taking another shot at the Missouri Second Amendment Preservation Act. And some of the things they just said in their filing to the court is looking to get the court to destroy and delete the bill, the law that was passed in Missouri that says, hey, you know what? Those unconstitutional laws don't apply here. Before I jump into that, I want to thank the sponsor of the video, and that's the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI is an accredited college. It's a distance learning institute where everything is mailed right to your door, where you can take individual classes or you can even earn your degree in classes such as ballistics or gunsmithing and the like. There's a ton of different options. You can check out their link down below. It's sdi.edu/G&G, and they even have financial aid available. Check them out, guys and gals, sdi.edu/G&G. Thanks to SDI for sponsoring this video. All right, guys, my name is Jared. This is Guns and Gadgets, and on this channel, I bring you Second Amendment news every single day, from litigation to legislation and everything in between. And I want to bring us up to date on this case that the Joe Biden administration is suing the state of Missouri for passing a law protecting the Second Amendment rights of residents who live within the borders of the state of Missouri. If you're not familiar with what the SAPA is, you should be. So I'm going to show you some of the things from the filing, because I want you to see exactly how your government thinks about your right to keep and bear arms, or any state that dares stand against the socialist regime. This is a good one. So this is the case for those who are looking for it. It's the United States of America versus the state of Missouri. And this is on appeal from the United States District Court for the Western District of Missouri. And it's in the 8th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. It says the United States brought this lawsuit to halt further implementation of Missouri HB 85, SAPA, a state law that purports to invalidate numerous federal firearms laws. It directs state courts and agencies to protect citizens against those federal laws. It deprives state officers of any authority to enforce or attempt to enforce those federal laws. And it reinforces those duties and prohibitions with a civil penalty scheme. Cops and the like could be sued for up to $50,000. The district court properly determined that the statute is unconstitutional in its entirety and enjoined the state and its officials from its further implementation and enforcement. That's the beginning. That's this lawsuit in a nutshell. Let's jump into what the U.S. is saying now to try to delete this law. On the merits, HB 85 plainly violates the Supremacy Clause. The statute does not simply express a point of view about federal law. It affirmatively requires state agencies, officials, and courts to conduct themselves in accordance with its declaration that federal law is invalid. The Constitution does not allow states to nullify, impede, or discriminate against federal law, and every provision of HB 85 depends upon its cornerstone provision declaring federal laws invalid. The district court therefore properly enjoined defendants from implementation or enforcement of HB 85 in its entirety. What it didn't say is that actually this state law is saying that any laws that violate that Second Amendment are not enforceable, because the laws that Congress has passed recently, and it talks about the NFA and the GCA, National Firearms Act, Gun Control Act, sorry about the lighting, it's getting dark, they're unconstitutional. They don't follow the Bruin decision. They don't follow Heller, right? So Missouri actually has it right, Mr. President. The cornerstone of HB 85 is its declaration of invalidity. The cornerstone of HB 85 is its declaration of invalidity of 5 broad categories of federal law. HB 85 declares that all federal acts, laws, executive orders, administrative orders, rules, and regulations in those 5 categories shall be considered infringements on the people's right to keep and bear arms as guaranteed by the Second Amendment and Article 1, Section 23 of the Constitution of Missouri within the borders of this state. It further declares that all such federal laws shall be invalid to this state, shall not be recognized by this state, shall be specifically rejected by this state, and shall not be enforced by this state. The 5 categories of federal law invalidated by HB 85 are: 1. Any tax, levy, fee, or stamp imposed on firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition not common to all other goods and services that might reasonably be expected to create a chilling effect on the purchase or ownership of those items by law-abiding citizens. 2. Any registration or tracking of firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition. 3. Any registration or tracking of the ownership of firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition. 4. Any act forbidding the possession, ownership, use, or transfer of a firearm or firearms accessory or ammunition by a law-abiding citizen. And 5. Any act ordering the confiscation of firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition from law-abiding citizens. And this is one big thing that they're pissed off at. HB 85 defines the term law-abiding citizen as any person who is not prohibited by state law from possessing firearms. So this law would get rid of all of the federal prohibitions, according to the United States' argument here. Then they go into how HB 85 has really hurt their enforcement efforts. HB 85 has also increased dangers in the field. The United States Marshal Service and other agencies have found it substantially more difficult to cooperate with state and local counterparts to apprehend wanted criminals, even in cases where firearms offenses are not initially implicated. For example, in some fugitive operations, state or local officers initially agreed to participate, but then disengaged at the scene upon the discovery of a firearm, a withdrawal that jeopardizes the safety of other task force members. They also talk about how I think it was 14 joint task force members who are assigned to the Kansas City ATF office have pulled the pin and they're not assisting anymore because obviously the cops don't want to get sued, right? $50,000 you can get sued for violating somebody's rights and you're not employable anymore. Hit them where it hurts, the pocketbooks. A couple more things here. It says the district court entered a declaratory and injunctive relief against the named defendants, and it declared that HB 85 is unconstitutional in its entirety as violative of the Supremacy Clause, and that state and local law enforcement officials in Missouri may lawfully participate in joint federal task forces, assist in the investigation and enforcement of federal firearms crimes, and fully share information with the federal government without regard to HB 85. And it enjoined the state of Missouri and its officers, agents, and employees, and any others in active concert with such individuals from any and all implementation and enforcement of HB 85. The state of Missouri appealed and sought an immediate stay of the district court's judgment. The district court denied the stay, but granted an administrative stay pending resolution of the appellate stay motion. That motion currently remains pending before this court. So the U.S. continues in this argument saying that it is an unconstitutional law because it violates the Supremacy Clause. It has affected the NFA and the GCA. And those were put into place to have federal firearms licensees keep the names and information of people who are buying firearms, registry stuff. And while it says that this law is unconstitutional because it violates the Supremacy Clause, funny, it doesn't say any of this stuff is unconstitutional that they're doing because it violates the Second Amendment, which is more important than the Supremacy Clause. Imagine that. So this case will be moving forward. If you want to know more or you want to stay in the know, then subscribe to this channel down below because I'm going to bring you that information every single day. Guys and gals, I hope you have a phenomenal day. I think it's disgusting that Joe Biden has ordered his Department of Justice and Merrick Garland to sue the state of Missouri because they had the stones to say no more BS in our state. And as a result, a lot of the Joe Biden stuff looks like it's teetering, at least in Missouri. And the big thing that they're scared with here, is if this is allowed to stay or some part of it is found to be okay by judges, by a bunch of judges, or potentially the Supreme Court, then other states will follow, and that destroys federal gun control from a different angle than it's already getting beaten and destroyed now based off the Bruin decision. So let me know what you guys and gals think about this, and I will have this pinned down below for your perusal. 71 pages, easy reading because a lot of it is citations. But subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing each and every single one of you down the road on the next one. Help the video out by liking and sharing if you could. Check your subscription. YouTube's playing that monthly game again. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.